What are you guys here for? What do you want to get out of this session? Best practices for Kubernetes. Do you use Kubernetes today? You use Kubernetes today. You use Kubernetes today? You, Kubernetes? So it's not working today? Is that why you're here? It's working? You want to make it better? Okay. Scalability. We should have a longer conversation about that right here if you don't mind. What company are you with? Nearpon. Yeah, excellent. Well, my name is Hasib. I work at Rafe. Have you heard of Rafe before? Well, we'll fix that today. Have you heard of Rafe before? Seriously, and you showed up here. You don't know anything about us and you showed up here. Excellent. That's faith. Okay, so we sell a platform that enterprises buy, and with the assumption that you are all part of some enterprise, and at a very high level, our job is to make their modernization journeys around Kubernetes go faster. We do that with the product, and I'll talk about that. But before we talk about the product, maybe I'll talk about the why, right? Not the what. The what I'll talk about, and I'm happy to have a longer conversation about the what, the scalability, for example. But the why. The biggest problem of our time, as it relates to modernization, is we don't have enough people to solve these problems. And given the new economy, you're not going to get more headcount. So you have work to do. It's only getting bigger, larger, and you don't have more headcount. So what do you do? So the thesis behind the company was, what if we could augment your DevOps team, your SRE organization, with product? What is the job of automation? But to reduce the work we have to do. So if we can reduce the work we have to do, you should be able to do more with the people you have. That was the job. It's very simple. That was the thesis. And once we had that thesis, we thought about, well, what should we build? And then we built a product, and I'll talk about that momentarily. And the why should continue to be the most important thing. Now, I'll start with one example. So have you heard of this company called MoneyGram? Money transfers on the internet. It's a large company, right? It's a very well-known brand. They are a fintech company. They used to be a brick-and-mortar company. They had locations you would walk into, you'd sign a piece of paper, they'd call somebody, and you'd get money elsewhere. That's how it used to work. Now it's all on EKS, actually. They do everything in AWS. When we engaged with them, they had no clusters early on. They were working on building an environment for Kubernetes. And they had a 12-person team, SRE DevOps. And it was really hard. And they had filed a request for at least another 10 headcount. This is 18 months ago. Now, the team that manages EKS for them, and they have many, many, many clusters. Guess how many people it is? It used to be 10, 18 months ago, 12. Now, 18 months later, that 12-person team, pick a number. How big do you think that team is? 2. Did I seed you these answers? Did we meet before? This is like a magic trick gone wrong. This guy knows it. But it's a smaller team. So they went from 12 people to essentially 2 people doing SRE and 2 people doing DevOps. And the point is that if you have the right automation, you shouldn't have to have that many people. Now, nobody lost their jobs. There's so much work to do. They ended up working on other things, obviously, right? There's always more work to do. This gentleman here, Bala, many of you here, you probably have the same job. He runs the team. So his biggest challenge is, man, he does not get to sleep at night. Bala has texted me he's in Central Time Zone, 3 a.m. his time saying, dude, I am in trouble, can somebody help me? And of course, we show up to help him. Product people, right? This is the job. The why is more important. So this is what we do for any customer. But then we do this for EKS, we do this for AKS, we do this for GKE. So the teams that run EKS, for example, at AWS, what do they think about Rafe, right? Because we are claiming that we can help their customers. So what do they have to say about us? So there's a guy named Kevin Coleman. I don't know if he's here right now. He's not. So Kevin runs the go-to-market for Kubernetes. Many a times, we talk to large enterprises, and the large enterprises say, I don't understand why you need your product. I have all these people. What are they going to do? And then people like Kevin make the statement that, look, when you start, it seems easy. Kubernetes is very easy when you're doing this on your laptop. But when you are an enterprise, when you have to think about the controls required, the access management, all these things, it's not easy. And then people like Kevin Coleman, who runs go-to-market, or Nate Tabor, who runs product management for EKS, these are our biggest champions. They are the ones who are giving our collective customers the confidence that if you work with Rafe, you're going to reduce your TCO. You're going to solve the problems you need to solve. And I will talk about the what. Right after this, I think, yeah, right after this, I'm going to talk about what the hell do we do? I'll talk about that, because you don't know yet. But that's the point. Look, we have customers who have been able to reduce their TCO, and I'm not saying it, my customers are not saying it, Amazon is telling their customers this. So we actually get a lot of introductions actually from our friends at Amazon, because they talk to you and you tell them, hey, I have a skills gap problem for Kubernetes, and they go, talk to this guy named Hasib, works at Rafe, blah, 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 right? Or whoever. I'm just one guy who works there. So then what do we do for you? What is it that we're selling? Have you heard of a product called OpenShift? Have you heard of a product called Tanzu from VMware? Rancher. Some of them. So these companies, many years ago now, had the right idea that automation for Kubernetes is important. And they all solved one problem, which was, I will help you build a cluster. But then EKS came along, and they said, I will do that for you, and I will do that for free, effectively free. $72 a month, it's free. So then now what, right? 10 cents an hour, right, basically, is the price. So now what do I do, right? So on top of EKS, once you have an EKS cluster, here's the reality. Just because you built a cluster, who cares? You can't use it. Then you spend a painful amount of time per cluster doing these things. Because if you are part of an IT organization or a platform team, once you build the cluster, you have internal customers. You can't just give them a cluster. They don't know what to do with a Kubernetes cluster. You have to solve for multi-tenancy, access management, policy management, upgrades, repeatable workflows for application deployment, network policy. The AWS CNI sort of doesn't work sometimes, so now what do? If I want to, my friend is smiling there because of the IP address issues probably, right? Because these are all the problems we have thought about. And on and on and on, right? These are problems that, this is not a discussion. You have to solve these problems and more. There's way more to do beyond this list. So the real question is, how are you going to do these? So we talked about the why. This is the what. The question is how. Right, the other two left are when and where, which is our booth, by the way. It's 1841. You should come to our booth, buy the product. But the how is, well, you can build it. Anybody can do anything. You're all engineers. We're all engineers, right? So in theory, we can build anything. Given enough time, given enough resources, I can build anything. Literally, I can build anything. The question is, do you? Do you have enough time? Do you have enough resources? And the reality is, most of us don't. Our customers, if you go to our website, now that you've heard our name, or go to our website, check out the logo list on our website. It's actually quite impressive. These are very large companies that you will recognize who all went through the same exact journey, which is they chose Kubernetes, they built a platform organization, they started the journey it's pretty nice, it's easy, I got a cluster, I got 2 clusters, and then it got harder, and then it got harder, and they hired more people, and eventually somebody in leadership says, what the hell are you doing? Why do you have so many people doing Kubernetes? I thought Kubernetes was supposed to make me go faster. It's become the reason why I'm not moving faster. And we solved that. We solved this with a SaaS product. This is a SaaS product. You can go sign up for an account. You can, this afternoon, provision clusters and have access and set policies and get pipe, everything that you want to do for Kubernetes, not just the cluster, actually make it consumable by your internal customer, your customer being the developers. You can do that today. That's the job. So we, if you think about it, are an extension of your team. If we don't do this, you do this. You have to. You don't have a choice. Has to be done. But now there's an opportunity to essentially hire a guy named Rafe, right? This, right? Guy named Rafe. You got to pay him a salary. You get a salary. I would like to get paid too. So you pay us money, and essentially we are in addition to your DevOps organization or your SRE organization. And that model is significantly better. You get up and running faster. The TCO is significantly lower. My friend at MoneyGram, who used to have a 12-person team going to 20 plus, and now has 4 people, His cost of ownership for Kubernetes is significantly lower than what he thought it was going to be. And they, look, just to be honest with you, they pay us a lot of money. But still, whatever, it's still cheaper. But the money is not important. Companies like MoneyGram or MassMutual or Verizon or HP, money is not the issue. It's about getting projects done faster, right? With fewer resources, with less risk. Because even the people who build the platforms for you, eventually they will leave your companies. And when they leave your companies, then what? I had a great conversation with somebody at our booth yesterday who came by and they said, well, we built an OpenShift lab or an environment 3 years ago, and it's great, it works, but the problem is that the people who built it, they have left the firm. And we don't know what to do now. And now we're looking at going to EKS, and we don't have the skill set. So we're stuck here because we don't know OpenShift, and we're stuck here because we don't know EKS. Now what do I do? We can help with that. We are an extension of your organization. You hired a guy named Rafe, and this guy named Rafe is going to solve this problem for you, obviously for money. And that's what we do. So this is the what, right? So I've mentioned 1 or 2 examples. We have a handful of other customers, of course. One of the key use cases for us is customers start with some DIY, some open source. Like maybe they'll start with a Rancher, and then they'll get stuck, and they'll look for an alternative, and they find Rafe. And consistently, we're getting people up and running faster and faster and faster. Like within a quarter, we have customers with entire environments up, tens and tens of application teams up and running with pipelines, everything works, right? And this is the story. Look, this is why I wanted to start with the why and not the what. What we do, yes, it's important, but the thing is, how do we solve this problem? This is what we're doing for a lot of companies. We have customers, there's many, many customers who use this, but fundamentally, we have solved the problem that I'm hopeful you appreciate because you do this today. My friend's nodding. We're going to scan your badge for sure, right? But I hope you agree that A, it's a hard problem, and B, if there's a way to address this skills gap problem so that you can move faster, there's an opportunity for you to make success, progress in your organization. This platform, I mentioned this is a SaaS platform. I talked about the things that it does. So this screen, this is a busy slide. It talks about the features. At the bottom of the screen, you see features. It's not important. Don't worry too much about the features. The point is, with these features, what do you do? What can you accomplish? What my customers are trying to accomplish is the things at the top. They want a repeatable way to provision infrastructure. In fact, they want sometimes self-service methodologies to provision infrastructures. I want my developers to be able to build clusters, but with certain requirements, certain controls. I want governance. Do what you need to do, but follow these paradigms. How? We do that because we provide a very elegant way to blueprint your clusters, configuration management basically, which is a problem that every company has to solve. It's a multi-tenant product, so you can run many, many users on the same platform. And then arguably the most important thing, for a developer, for an SRE, for a security team, for a DevOps organization, they need different pieces of information in your Kubernetes world. How do you make sure they have the right information, they have the right visibility, they have the right access? This is the goal. To accomplish these goals, the product does a lot. And again, today is not the day to talk about this is not a demo meeting, right? If you'd like to see a demo, we have enough people at our booth who can show you a demo. But to accomplish these 4 things, a lot of problems have to be solved. And look, this is the reality, right? I said this before, I'll repeat this. This is not a discussion. This is not a choice. This is not a, maybe I'll do 4 of these and not the other 5. No. You have to do them all. If you claim that you are running a production Kubernetes environment, and if you're not doing any of these, that's not okay. You have to. This has to be solved. The question is, how? And we are providing you an alternative. You can build anything you want. The question is, could we work together and make you go faster? And many, many enterprises would tell you that the answer to that is yes. I don't know how long it's been. I took exactly 15 minutes. Does this story make sense to you? That was a very slow nod. I don't know if that means a yes or maybe. Okay, all right. Okay. But look, this is the story, and if you think this is interesting, our booth number is 1841. We're right in front of the AWS Startup Showcase. We're right in front of that. Please stop by, take a look at the product. I hope we can find a way to work together. Thank you very much for your time.